Hello faculty, Greg Steinke and Jill Zimmerman here for another teaching tip. Today we're going to talk about designing online lectures and content presentations.
Because even great information from highly qualified people can miss the mark with students if we don't put enough thought into the mode of delivery.
We asked students about their experiences with online lectures and compiled 5 best practices for making recorded presentations more engaging and memorable. We're excited to share them with you now. Thanks for joining us.
Best practice number 1, chunk it. If you're used to lecturing for an hour or more straight, this first step might feel like a big adjustment. But if you think your content is worth remembering, start breaking it up into short, topic-based segments. Why is this important? Well,
typically if I'm listening to a lecture, I'll probably zone out within the first 10 minutes.
Probably 5 minutes.
10 to 15.
5 or 10 minutes at a time and then do something else for a while.
I get really sleepy during the long videos and lose focus.
These are not lazy students. They are students with typical attention spans. Keeping your lecture videos topic-based in under 10 minutes will help them stay focused.
Plus, come review time, it's easier for students to find the specific topics they know they need to revisit.
Once you've divided and trimmed down your topics, it's time to identify a key point for each slide. What we're trying to avoid is this. A wall of text is not much of a visual aid, and it can easily lead you down the path of simply reading your slides word for word. Students have some strong opinions about that presentation style.
When a professor just has bullet points and they're just reading them off as they're written.
That's something I hate.
I don't really get anything out of it if they just read it, then I zone out.
I don't need you to read it off for me.
Don't just list off a bunch of things on a PowerPoint. PowerPoint should be used for summarizing things. You shouldn't have to follow through it word for word on it.
So how do we boil a full page of info down to one key point? Let's take a look at a before and after example from a real course. Here's the starting point. There's a lot of useful information on this slide, but there's a better way to present it. Let's identify the key message. Well, there are 5 fundamental principles of the chromosome theory of inheritance. That sounds like a key message. Boom! Your students instantly see that this is the important key concept, and they are ready for you to elaborate without bullet points.
So, if we're eliminating bullet points to convey information, what are we using instead? Illustrations.
Using pictures to illustrate might be the first idea that comes to mind, and that's a good way to start.
Going back to our example, instead of showing a wall of text while talking about chromosome inheritance from parent to offspring, why not show this instead? The principle illustrated. But pictures are just one type of illustration. Here are some other ideas.
I would like to see more media involved in presentations.
Adding videos into PowerPoints is really interesting.
Demos.
A little animation so we can see it firsthand.
Stories or characters.
Songs.
Real life examples.
Real life application.
Real life examples.
The actual applications, it makes it a lot more easy to process and memorize.
Students appreciate real-life illustrations and the real human instructor who is sharing them. With that in mind, try to keep your tone personable and engaging.
You need to be exciting when you talk. Don't be monotone. That's huge.
Act like this is interesting, then we'll be interested in it. Throw in jokes and kind of make it more entertaining. Makes it a lot easier to watch.
Adding a little bit of humor into your lecture helps a lot. It goes a long way too.
Making them laugh is great. Another proven technique is making them wonder.
Tapping into people's natural curiosity is the way to transform a lecture from something to endure to something to enjoy. You can do this by posing a thought-provoking question, teasing a concept before you talk about it, or adding an element of mystery or surprise.
Let's look at an example from a course. In this presentation about risk management in the construction field, the instructor starts with an overview of the module, then goes through some terminology, and concludes with a case study of a legal dispute between a builder and a homeowner. She briefly lays out the background, legal principles at play, and the outcome of the case study in one fell swoop.
So, what if we tweaked the order of these presentation segments to pique curiosity? Let's start with the drama of the case study background. A house has collapsed, a family is homeless. Who is responsible? Get the students thinking on that as you walk through the meat and potatoes of the presentation. At the end, return to the case study and reveal the outcome and its relevance.
And now you don't need to be a mystery writer to pique curiosity. And as we move along, you don't need to be an artist to create visually appealing slides. You just need to design deliberately. Put some thought into the fonts and colors that you choose. Here are a few pointers on creating a visually appealing, consistent, and easy-to-read presentation.
First of all, ditch those prepackaged PowerPoint themes. They usually make your presentation look tacky and outdated. You can do better on your own. Let's start with the color palette and keep it simple. We chose 3 colors, a dark color, a light color, and an accent color for some pop. A dark gray and an off-white are bonus freebies that round out your color palette without being harsh on the eyes.
Now let's talk typeface. We have a couple considerations to keep in mind when choosing a font that we plan on recording to video. On the left here we have Times New Roman, a serifed font with these decorative flourishes. That may look nice on the printed page, but on video the fine lines get muddy and are hard to read. On the right is a sans serif font, which is what we want. This is a simple and clean font that will be easy to read, especially on this dark background that you may have noticed we've been using the whole time. Our dark background and lighter text was also a deliberate design choice.
Once you've found your one nice sans serif font, stick with it. If you really feel the need to add some variety or special emphasis, remember that your accent color and bold and italicized styles are also options.
Deciding on your colors and font ahead of time makes it easy to assemble the presentation content in a cohesive way. As always, if you have design ideas in mind and need help executing them, we're happy to help, and we can even build a customized template for you to use.
And that wraps up our 5 best practices. We hope these guidelines will help you design your next lecture or revise your existing presentations for maximum effectiveness.
You'll find links to additional helpful resources down below in the video description. If you have questions, would like assistance, or would like to record here in the studio, don't hesitate to contact us. Thanks for watching.